Okay, guitar collection number 1, part 1. And I'm just making this video for the hell of it because I'm bored. It's something to do, and some of the people I know haven't seen me in a long time. And this might be interesting to some people, especially those of you that do play guitar or some type of music. So I'm going to start off with the first guitar I ever bought. Well, not the first guitar I ever bought. The first I ever bought was a Hondo 2 Les Paul knockoff. I bought it because of Ace Frehley back in the late 70s. And I don't know, I was like 13 years old. I had that thing for a while. And one day I decided to go out and actually spend money on a real guitar. And I had my eye on this Gibson Flying V at a new music store at the time called Dewey Latta Music. Some of you might remember that place. It didn't last very long, but they had some pretty good guitars. The owner was pretty cool. I was able to make payments on this back in '86. And I'll show you the first one. Let me adjust that camera a little bit. First one's my first actual real guitar. Gibson Flying V. It's the designer series, around mid-'80s, a little after that, 86-ish. And it was cool at the time. Stripes are kind of not cool to today's standards, but it is what it is. This guitar came with a Kahler tremolo, and it was unique, hanging there on the shelf. It was the only one that had this from the factory mounted on it, and I was like, yeah, that's the one. I mean, KK Downing had a Flying V. Of course I needed one. But this was, it cost me a pretty good buck at the time, probably around $800 with the case. And it's all original. The only thing I did over the years is, let's see, all these knobs are not original. They eventually got brittle and broke off, the plastic ones. So I stuck these metal ones on temporarily. Matter of fact, probably forever, because I'm never going to fucking change them. They work. That's all you need. But the pickup is the original Gibson pickups. I think they're super distortions. I'm not sure. No clue. They sound really good. I had this one time I popped it out. And threw an EMG X in there, thinking I was going to get a little bit more out of it. I got a little too much out of it. Didn't really like the EMG X in this guitar. Didn't work out very well, so rewired the whole thing back to the original. So she's original except for that chip back there. Good old belt buckles or rivets, Levi rivets. We all know how that happens, but it's not what they look like, it's what they do. But nice Gibson V. Sounds great. And that's from the designer series in the 80s. Sounds great. I thought this was going to be the only and last guitar I'd ever have to buy. But not so. The second guitar I ended up with was this. It's a Westone. I forget the model. X something. It's a limited edition. This was I think SLM made this before Japan took over the Westone line. SLM also made crate amplifiers. People remember those. But this one, I'll tell you how I got this one. A friend of mine who's no longer with us, which sucks. Some of you may know him, Ray Cornell. He bought guitars. He loved them. He played them. We were good friends. Shared this hobby quite a bit. He'd come over. It seemed like every year he'd have a new guitar. And he couldn't wait to come over and show me. And he brought this one. I'm like, oh, great. What'd you do? Get another guitar? He's like, Yeah, man, it's pretty cool. Yeah, let me try it out. But it might, no sooner than it landed here. I love this guitar. It was like, yeah, this just feels right. Played it, loved the way it played, loved the way it sounded. Everything was great about this guitar. The minute I put it in my hands, he knew it. Ray knew it, and it was, went on with life. At least some of us did. Sadly, he didn't. But he thought about selling this, and he came to me once, and he said, "Hey, you want to buy that West Tone?" I'm like, "Man, what are you nuts? Keep that thing. It's a nice guitar." "Nah, man, I like buying new ones. I've got my eye, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "You sure about that?" And I thought real quick, you know, you should keep it, but if I don't buy it, he's going to end up getting rid of it and ending up with something else. That was just what he did. He enjoyed it. So I said, I'm going to grab it from him. So for $400, he sold it to me. And then he passed away maybe a year later. And I love it. The only thing I did is I replaced the bridge. And I put this bridge right here is that's a Kahler Floyd Rose combination. It's I don't know how many they've made in a joint build, but it is a Kahler Floyd tremolo. It's called a Spider. Kahler Spider, I guess. And cost me quite a bit of bucks back in, I think it was early 90. And then I dumped the pickup out of it. And the EMG that's in there wasn't what I replaced it with. My son went to a Kiss concert when he was like 6 or 7. And Paul Stanley smashed the guitar. The security guys gave him the pickup out of it. And he brought it to me. And I was looking at it and I go, wow, that thing's still got the wire and everything. I'm going to put it in the guitar and see what the hell happens. And it was a white dual humbucker. Or a humbucker, rather, not dual singles. And man, that thing sounded pretty damn good, but it was a real cheap pickup. Obviously, they don't smash expensive gear. They're not smashing DiMarzios and Gibsons. But that pickup sounded really good. But for whatever reason, I stuck an EMG 81 or an 85 in here. And yeah, it fits. It sounds great. Sounds great. The bridge is great. And that's about all I did to this. I never put the back covers on any of my guitars because you never know when you got to pop a spring. I went to 10s, Ernie Ball 10. And then some of the guitars I went 9 because my old ass fingers are starting to get sore. But 9s and 10s, I can take either one. Takes a little bit getting used to those 9s. They're a little flimsy. Might go back to 10s and stick with it. I'm not sure. But this old West Tone's great. And it's my main guitar. Oh, then my son saw one on eBay. Now here's the original West Tone, just like that one. He found it on eBay, and he bought it. It plays, of course we had to pop an EMG in that sucker too. And that's got the original Bandmaster Deluxe tremolo that it came with. I didn't like it because the rollers get corroded really easy. Maybe some cheap metal. I don't know if this was a Japanese model or not, but it plays almost as good as that one. But no two guitars are the same. Some of you know that. They're just not. They're not supposed to be. This one doesn't play, to me, as good as that one because that one has a lot of hours on it. So sometimes wearing them down, It's completely worn to me. This one needs to be worn, and it's going to be a long time before that happens in my lifetime. But that's up to my son to wear it out himself. That's his. But it's cool to see two of these West Tones. That one's got two springs in it. I think that's because this one has 10s and that one has 9s on it. Or vice versa. Yeah, I think that's vice versa. Less tension for lighter strings. Duh. Then I went to the House of Guitars and I said, I'm going to go buy an Ibanez. I just want one. Those are the years when Joe Satriani and Steve Vai were doing their thing and throwing Ibanez around. I said, man, those might be good guitars to try out. So went to the House of Guitars, which is rare for me. I don't usually go there to buy anything. And a new guy I'd never seen before comes out of nowhere and says, hey man, what are you looking for? I said, I'm looking for an Ibanez. He goes, oh man, you got to see this one. It just came in. It's down in the basement. I'll go get it. So he brings it up. It's in a case. And, you know, this is a cool looking Ibanez right here. And it's the S series, S540. Look how thin that is. So when you get old like me and your back hurts, this is the one for you. Now I like them heavy. This is a little too thin for me. It feels kind of, oops. Can't look at the camera while you're doing this. But this one has got a real, the neck is real shallow. It's very thin. It's not like a baseball bat, which sometimes I actually like. But it's real easy to play. If you were to start off playing guitar, electric guitar, I would suggest an Ibanez S540, the slim one. This thing got some 9s on here. Oh, again, we stuck some EMGs in this one. I love them EMGs, man. All right, let's move on. Oh, the story. This is not the one I bought from House Guitars, by the way. I sold that one back in the late 90s. Times were tough, and it's the last thing I wanted to do, and I took at least a $400 loss on it. But my wife that I have now, I told her the story, and for whatever reason, she went and found one nearly the exact same color. It's a little different in color. Kind of hard to tell what color this is. My first one was charcoal gray. This one looks charcoal gray, but sometimes it looks green. So I don't know what's happening with that. It's kind of cool though. It's a nice guitar. They play really good. This one actually plays a little too easy for me. A little too easy. But you need a soft touch on that one. But that's not the original, but now I wanted to show Ray this, and he passed away like a month or less before I got to show this to him. You'll love that. Anyways, let's move on to number 4. Let's see what we got going on here. Number 4 ended up being a build, homemade job. This one's 100%, the body's 100% homemade. And what I wanted to do is I had this billet of mahogany sitting around for years. And finally I got off my butt and decided I'm going to make me a guitar out of that. And before I do, I thought it out really carefully and thought, what will make it better than anything that I've played before? What do I think a guitar should have? And that's what this is going to get. Well, I only wanted one volume knob. Fuck all the tone shit. Don't need it. I don't. Throw an EMG in there. Nothing else. One pickup. Bridge. volume, done. Whammy, well, here's the irony. This is a Westone Dunmaster Deluxe from the guitar that I put the Kahler Floyd on. So I had this laying around, oiled it up, got her all, the rollers going, and that's where it ended up. This one has, I did some thought about it a little bit. I wanted cutouts a little different. This is a little deeper, 24 fret, so you don't have to kill yourself. Not that I play up there, but since I'm building it, might as well make it playable without struggling, so you can kind of, you know, plenty of room there. So even if you're only a 22 fretter, great, it's there. You ain't gonna fuck around with this hunk of wood in the way, you know. Just makes sense. But anyways, that's that. What else about this? I made this for my son, by the way, for his wedding shower. So that's where this went. And the neck is a Warmoth. It cost quite a bit, but it was custom made. I gave all the specs to them, and they made it to my specs. You know, the depth, the arch, 9-inch radius, I think. Pre-worn frets, so you don't have to break it in and get bloody fingers all over again at 50 years old. And for him, it would have been pre-broken in. And some of you know what I'm talking about. It's way better that way. But you can slide around all over the place on this thing. This thing sounds great. The only mistake I made was the first thing I did on the billet was laid out the neck pocket, in which the hardware pickup and routing is perfectly lined up based on where the neck is oriented. So you can't have it crooked and offset. So the neck kind of starts, my theory, I have no idea how to build guitars, but I started with the neck pocket, squared it off, got it mounted, and then worked all the hardware from that. So everything measured out, nut to bridge, or nut to saddle, blah, blah, blah. And everything came out great. He had a friend of mine cut it out because he had a really nice band. He's a woodworker, so he knew and has the equipment to do the right things. So I had him cut it out for me, and he rounded it, he even put the bevel in there for me. I don't know if you can see the bevel, but the bevel that fits your body. Yeah, you can kind of see it here. You know, it fits right in there. But it's kind of based off the Westone, actually. If you look at the two, you can obviously see that it's obvious, just a bigger cutaway there and a 24 fret. And without all the extra knobs, pickups, and switches. Straightforward. But what happened is I measured the depth of the neck pocket before it was sanded smooth and planed. The obvious happened. The neck pocket depth had changed. It's less than it was supposed to be. So the neck actually isn't, actually, it's so hard to look through the camera. You can see that it's a bigger gap here. This should be set down lower. So I'll have it taken someplace and routed out. Get the neck set, because those strings are a little too high. So is the bridge. Look how high the bridge is just to make up for that. That bridge should be a lot lower. It sounds and plays great, but with the strings this high, it does change the tone and the way, you know, the sustains and stuff work. It's a little more twangier when it's higher. In my opinion, it seems that way. But we'll get that fixed up, all in time. Let's move on. This is my first video, by the way, so it sucks. Oh, actually, before I built that guitar for my son, and before he bought the copy of the Westone, I bought this for him when he was, I don't know, 13 or 14. It's It's not the top of the line, but it's a Jackson Flying V. It's got the bolt-on neck, so it's not the lower end of the Jackson guitars. You know, I think I paid $500 for this brand new, and I think it's basswood. It's a little light down here in the body. It's a little neck heavy, which is kind of annoying. And worse yet, where they put that jack is the dumbest idea I've ever seen, because you can't sit down and put it there. You can, but it fucks up the chords pretty good. So if you, some of you know what I'm talking about. But it's a nice sounding guitar. Sounded great with the stock pickup. But what I did is he got a Dave Mustaine live wires, active pickups, and since he loves Megadeth and Dave Mustaine, I put it in the Jackson V for him. So that's a live wire. And I'm not crazy about it, because that means I got to change all my effects and amps and shit. So for me, it's not, I'm not crazy about it, just to play it to where it sounds the way I like it. For him, it's great because he's still building what he wants. And I don't want to change everything just to make one guitar sound the way I want it. So, but that's his guitar, so he does what he wants with it. Sounds pretty good. Plays really good. A little awkward sometimes, but it's a nice guitar. Oh, what the hell else happened? Oh, I think, well, I think we're down to the two left here. This one's my son's as well. He got this for Christmas, I think, last Christmas? Wow, time flies. This is the Dave Mustaine King V, the Dean. As you can see, got the famous wings on there. And it is the Dave Mustaine. This one costs plenty of money. And it has two live wires in it, neck and bridge. And this guitar is very unique. They were smarter. They put the jack in the top, not the bottom. So this way you can still go like this, and the jack's back here. And it's loose, by the way. Uh-oh. The hell? Thing's brand new. I'll have to take care of that. Anyways, this one sounds pretty good. It's got a nice bridge on it. The neck is a little wider than I'm used to. Seems a little wide. It's not baseball batty. It's kind of in the middle. Fretboard just seems wide to me. But the action is incredible. Looks cool. Everything's cool about it. Again, live wires, got to change the whole sound system. And if it was up to me, I'd probably put some new strings on it. I might have. No, maybe I'll play this later. I can't remember what the hell is on there. But this is his guitar. He tunes it completely different than me. He tunes it by the book, so or to Megadeth. So it's his. Beautiful guitar, rock solid, set neck, I believe. I don't think that's through. Quite a craftsmanship on this thing. She's a nice guitar. Move on. Should be putting them back in the case. Oh. Now this monster, you won't believe this one. This thing, what is it? Nobody fucking knows what it is. Neither do I. Actually, it was at a garage sale about, I don't know, a couple years ago. There was a box, square box, just a small box, maybe 2 feet by whatever the width of the body is. And I open it up, and there's this Telecaster body and neck with a big old giant paddle of a headstock. Ugliest damn thing I've ever seen, but I'm not a Telecaster fan. Sorry out there. But I think they're fucking ugly, to be honest with you. And I think they sound like shit. But that's me. So, anyway, it was a Telecaster copy of sorts. It was a kit guitar that this guy bought. Never motivated himself to put it together. There it lay, brand new in the box, at a garage sale. $15. I'm thinking, there's nothing to lose here for $15. So I took it home, laid it out, all the parts and hardware. The plastic harness was with the pickup and the bridge, and terrific cheesy crap and ugly. So I said, no way am I building it as is. So I'm going to do something special with a $15 guitar. So, as you see, it's not a Telecaster. And this is still a little fat and stupid looking like a Telecaster yet. And what else was stupid about it? Oh, that Fender hasn't figured out how to pitch the headstock. It's straight as the fucking neck. What's wrong with them? Like, pitch the fucking headstock, god dang it. And then you won't need these stupid guides on here if it was pitched. Good grief. Alright, I'm not going to get into it. Because there's probably some Fender lovers out there that I just pissed off. But, oh well. Have fun with them. This one, sanded it, smoothed it out. Took a saw immediately to this part here and got rid of this big lump of wood that was pointless, sticking out, solid hunk. Gone. Even them out. Good enough. A couple of horns there. Painted it black. Nice lacquer black. And then I thought, what the hell? I got this. Gotta put something on it. Make it special. So, put the Punisher on there. And of course, the EMG X we talked about on the Flying V. It is now in here. And it suits it perfectly. It gives it what it needs. This thing came out of the box evil. It looks as evil as it sounds. It sounds as evil as it looks. But it's amazing. For $15, the cost of an EMG, what the hell they put on? Oh, guess what's on here? A Bandmaster Deluxe. That's amazing. You know how I got that? I'll show you that in a second. Yeah, that makes 3 of them. I must have 3 West-Tones around here. So, 1 volume knob. Routed out the whole back myself. Oh yeah, stuck that on there just because it was there. And put a little plate on the back there. Plastic cover plate. And put some bullet holes in it. Doesn't quite look like bullet holes. Close, no cigar. But this thing sounds great. I love the way it sounds. It's pretty heavy duty. Tune it down to a nice B. Drop B. Good to go. Anyways, oh, and I even cut the headstock, make it look more like a guitar, not a boat paddle. Alright, there I go on Fender again. So that's that. This thing sounds pretty cool though. I was going to say something else about that, but I forgot. Let me go show you where that bridge came from. My son, for whatever reason, went on a buy a West Tone guitar spree. So here's the neck. And it was the ugliest fucking color you ever saw. I mean, this guitar was ugly as shit. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. I filled in that previous guitar, the Telecaster, all the routed out single coil and all the routing that they do on those fenders. I filled it all in with epoxy, sanded it smooth, and then I did the same thing to this Westone. Wow. White doesn't hold up with this camera. Well, we find an angle for it. Well, anyways, it's a white guitar. And that's the way it's going to be because he wanted it white. I happen to have another skull laying around. So I said, hey, let's put a skull on this one. And what is this? Well, those are 2 paw prints from their dogs. They have 2 huskies, Whiskey and Emra. And he wanted the paw prints from each of them here. They're great dogs. And this is where their paw prints went. And I didn't finish this because they got another husky. So they have 3 huskies. And I've got to obtain 1 more paw print before I can finish this. I don't know, maybe somewhere around here. The pitch is here, so I don't know how to... Well, maybe here. No, that's not a good spot for it. Well, maybe you could squeeze it down here. Who knows? We'll figure it out. It's not easy getting a paw print from huskies. Try it. Try it. So, anyway, same thing here. You know, it had, basic humbucker cutaway. Then your bridge. And that's where that Westone Bendmaster came from. I had stolen it from this because I needed it to finish that guitar. And now this one sits here, which I just bought a bridge for. Matter of fact, it's only been here a couple days. So I'm ready to get this one assembled. And of course, that will be going here, as it should. And that's a Floyd Rose, of course. So we'll pop that in. I got to get the paw print, do the clear coat, sand it up, clear coat it several times, and assemble it. Put the hardware in, wire it up. Guess what's going in there? Not EMG. I got a brand new, well, I have an EMG laying around and another live wire. So if he wants the live wire, then so be it. Single volume, single pickup. That's it. I epoxied in all the other 2 single coils that were here. Gone. The other switch and volume knob and tone knob gone. Just volume, pickup, bridge, neck, strings. And of course, the rest. Oh yeah. You can't see it. You know who that is. I'm not even going to say anything. That's just a throw-in bonus right there. But we're going to get this one built up and see what she sounds like. Should be fun. That's what it'll sort of look like. Anyways, that's it. I'm going to do a part 2. Except for I'm going to do the amps and effects sitting over here because we've got some pretty interesting stuff over here. A little bit of interesting. So this video is going to be gigantic as it is. 34 minutes, 20 seconds. It's going to take a whole night to freaking upload to fucking YouTube. So wait for part 2.